Hey everybody, this is your boy Harshit Vadiparthi and welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we'll be going through AI workflows and using AI agents to build custom workflows and automate stuff. And by automate, I mean literally automate anything. It can be automating content, it can be automating scraping, creating videos, posting blogs, posting newsletters, everything. So this is like a mind map that I've made of exactly what I'm trying to do here, right? So I'd like to just go through the entire mind map with you guys first to understand what my entire plan is here and what tool I'd be using to do something like this. So this is a simple Miro board and I just wanted to create a whole workflow, a basic mind map of how my entire workflow would work like. So first, the main thing here is research agent. So the research agent is actually powered by Firecrawl, and Firecrawl is a way to basically crawl the entire websites and convert them into LLM readable data. So that's how it looks like. You put any kind of link, you'll be basically getting the entire LLM readable data so that your LLM understands the data much better and then scrapes through the whole thing. So I have a lot of credits for these because I get a YC deal, a Y Combinator deal. Firecrawl is also a Y Combinator backed company. Yeah, backed by YC. So I do get some credits from that. All right, so that's the first thing here, right? And research agent, and you don't have to be intimidated by any of this. I'm just going to go through it in a very, very simple way so that you guys understand what we're dealing with here. So the first thing is research agent. You're going to build a research agent which scrapes through websites, which tries to understand through all the websites, crawls the websites, gets all the data from there, and then brings it into the LLM. And once that happens, let's go through blogs now, all right? So once the data brings everything into the LLM, it then starts making newsletters and blogs, all right? So it can scrape through data with APIs, property listings. So this is an example for, let's say, a property scraper, all right? So it can actually scrape through property listings, social media trends, economic reports, HNI database, that's high net worth individual database, and daily market research. It's going to do complete daily market research. Everything's completely automated. And then it's going to write 100 newsletters. And these are more ideas about the newsletters. And the newsletters are also going to be distributed as blogs. So 50 blogs a day, 3 newsletters, subreddits with bot automation, Facebook groups, Twitter groups, Medium articles, anything and everything, even on website. So you can basically create everything, right? Like literally everything you can basically create. And that's what I just wanted to touch base on and wanted to go through with you guys as well. So the first thing, the tool that we're going to use for this is called N8N. All right, so N8N is a secure AI native workflow automation. It's basically like Make.com and Zapier, but you can host it locally using Docker and you get a lot more options. It's very code friendly, developer friendly, and you can basically just copy paste stuff onto Claude and then ask it how to do the workflows and it's going to help you out. So you don't have to know anything about how to operate this. So I think you guys have already been watching a lot of N8N videos and it's the first time I'm making an N8N video and just wanted to go through everything, right? So I've just built a simple scraper. So it's going to scrape through 20 tech article listings. All right, so that's the whole workflow here. So it's going to scrape through this thing, right? So this URL. And after it scrapes through that URL, it's gonna parse these into a box. All right. After it parses it into a box, it then parses all the posts, then splits out the posts. All right. Each post in detail. All right. So each of these posts are going to be much more in detail, and then request a post detail page and parse post content and metadata again, and save the values. So this is the last step. But here you can literally add anything. You can add Twitter. Let's say you just want to post. You can add Twitter. For now, I'm just not going to add anything here, but you can add Twitter and you can add, let's say you want to add in LinkedIn. Create a post. So you can basically create a post as well from LinkedIn, and then from that LinkedIn post, it's going to post a Twitter post. So all of this can be done. This stuff is super easy, right? So just posting this stuff is easy. But the whole point here is scraping the data. How do you scrape the data when all these crawlers, all these websites already know that you're scraping? And how do you kind of, mask yourself? How do you do that? So I'm just going to touch base on that too. And that's one scraper. And this is another scraper which scrapes and summarizes web pages with AI. So here is where there's LLM, all right? So I'm currently using my local Ollama chat model, and I'm just going to show you how to integrate this as well just in a second. So here's the thing, right? I'm just going to give you guys the template for free. Just go ahead, use this template. And all you need to do is, for this template, all you need to do is work on Ollama chat model. So how do you do that? All right, so first steps first, let me show you guys how to basically have this on Docker. Let me just open Docker. So as you can see right now, N8N and Ollama are currently running on my Docker. So these are completely locally hosted. That's why you can see it says localhost 5687. And if you just, go look at this, yes, that's localhost 5687. So you can basically host this completely locally. And the thing is, my computer, I'll just show you my configuration as well. So this is M2. So it's a Mac Mini M2 2023, Apple M2, memory 8 gigs. That's super low. This is actually a very, simple laptop, a simple Mac Mini for, specifically for these tasks itself. But then I've realized that, 8 GB RAM is literally nothing. You can get nothing out of the 8 GB RAM, and you really need some, a lot of RAM to run all of these locally. But for simple tasks like, creating blogs, creating posts, I think you can use Llama 2, which is only 2 GB, right? And I think you guys already know how to download this, right? I've already showed you guys in previous videos how to do this. Ollama.com.library, and DeepSeek, I think it's still too much. Maybe you can just download the 1.5 billion parameters. Just click on this, just go here, and then when you do this, or you know what, instead, so here's an important thing, right? So you're not going to download and pull these on your Mac. You're basically going to pull them on your containers. So that's a different thing. That's one thing that was causing me a lot of problems. You don't download the Llama models on your root computer. You're going to do that on the container. If not, make sure that your file, your YAML file, clearly mentions that. And you don't have to know everything. You can just simply ask ChatGPT or Cursor. So basically, I'm just going to ask Cursor. I'm just going to say, hey, help me download this. When you download it, it should show up in my N8N. Okay. So for that, I'm just going to share a simple screenshot. I'm just going to click this. It's going to show a simple screenshot of this. All right. Yes. Okay. While it's going to tell us everything how to do that, I'm just going to show you guys this. All right. So simply, when you want to create, let's say this doesn't exist, right? If you want to create this, all you have supposed to do is just click on Ollama chat, unnamed credentials. So you'll have to create a new credentials. When you do that, it's going to ask you for this URL, and this URL has to match exactly the port. All right. So it has to match the port. But in this case, if I show you, it's my Docker. Because it's running on Docker, it's just going to say host.docker.internal. And again, if this is intimidating, you just ask your Cursor to basically do it for you. All right, it's going to do that, right? It's the same thing. I didn't do any of this. And once that's done, it's going to show you the list of all the LLMs that are installed. So DeepSeek R1, as you can see, right? And if you don't know what language models are installed, all you have to do is say Ollama list. And it's going to show you all the LLMs that are installed on your local computer. For now, it's R1 latest. I think this is like 7 gig. Yeah, 7 billion parameters. That's too much, right? 7 billion parameters. I tried running it on my Mac and everything just stops working. It's actually, now I get it, right? I mean, it's actually expensive to run models. You either get cloud credits or have like a big NVIDIA GPU or, a lot of RAM to run these models. All right, for now, let's just pull this, right? It's 1 billion parameters. It's very simple, 1 billion parameters is not a lot, so we're just gonna wait for this to get installed. Until then, let's keep the Llama 2 latest, to run this, right? So just place it here. So that's one thing that you got to do to scrape these websites. And now let's come to the point. What's the main important thing, right? You just can't simply just go ahead and scrape stuff. For that, what you really have to do is get Toolip proxies, right? Toolip proxies are the most important thing in scraping websites, in getting details, in getting leads, anything that you want to do, you need proxies. So Toolip.io is my favorite proxy company, and I've worked with them for a while right now, and I've been using their proxies always, and they always work. There is no a failure here. They always work, and that's what you need when you're doing these custom workflows, because you don't want to mess up you don't want to mess up your workflows with worse proxies. These proxies, they always work. I don't know how these guys are doing it. They're really amazing, right? So Toolip products, you get shared data center proxies, dedicated data center proxies, rotating residential, and global ISP. But I think for now, I think shared data center proxies is also good. And guess what? If you don't have an account, you can basically create an account and also get free proxies. So I get free proxies, the renewal date is, I get like basically 3 days. For 3 days, I can simply test out proxies. And then if I need more, I can just go ahead and add these. And look at the pricing. That's like 0.40 per IP. Like, five IPs. You get 5 IPs for this. That's like $2, guys. You can basically invest in a very good proxy network. And once you get these proxies, you can start off with your scraping. And by now, I guess you understand why scraping is so important, because scraping helps you build the research agent as well, right? So even if you want to build a research agent, because if you look at this, right, I'm basically creating a complete farm of lead generation, social media channels, creating videos, lead magnets, podcasts, and the base for everything is a research agent. And for your research agent to function properly, you would need proxies. All right, so now what I'm basically going to do is I'm just going to click on this, and this is my entire proxy, right? So I'm just going to click on generic, and you don't really have to know again, right? Simple. What you do here is you click on this and you open it, and this is where you paste the proxies. All right, so for now it says this, but you can just ask ChatGPT to basically convert this into a link, and it's going to give you the link, because this is the format, right? If you just look at this is the format. So you just ask ChatGPT, hey, can you just make it in this format? Basically, just take a simple screenshot of this, paste it here, drag and drop it here, and then just copy your entire proxy and just say, give it in the URL format so that I can paste it in my N8N. That's it. And also, I've actually spoken to the N8N team, and they've mentioned they are going to come up with their own node on N8N, and that's going to happen really soon, right? Imagine if they have their own node. It's going to be so easy for you guys to just access it. All right, so now this is done. We're just going to test this step, and now when we test it, it's going to execute the node. Done, right? Node executed successfully. So basically use these proxies to scrape, because again, it's TechCrunch, right? So you can't really just scrape the entire TechCrunch without any proxies. You would need proxies for sure. All right, so now this is done. This entire workflow is done. So let's just test this workflow first before we go to this one. All right, so let's just go ahead and test this workflow. Once I click this, boom, I think it's happening super fast. Requesting praise, done. So workflow executed. And now from here, you can literally do anything. You can just go ahead and post it on Twitter. You can post it on LinkedIn. You can do anything, right? You can actually make a video out of it and even post it on YouTube as well. So that's again for a later video. For now, I just wanted to share with you guys how we can do it with text before we can do the whole video. All right, so now let's go ahead. to this one. All right. So these are basically Paul Graham's essays. So what it's going to do is basically scrape through all these articles and then help me create a blog post out of it. All right. So this is how it's going to happen. It's going to fetch the essays, extract essay names, split them into items, and then limit only to first three. I just limited these to first three. Fetch essay text. It's going to extract the article here and then going to merge it while the summarization is happening here. All right, so now for summarization, let's just go ahead where we've stopped. And now, yes, as you can see, we've downloaded the entire model, which was DeepSeek R1, 1.5 billion parameters, and that's it. Let's just go ahead and click the same thing, 1.5 billion parameters. This is done. All right, so this is where my laptop's going to hang a little bit. So, just stay with me here. I'm just going to test the entire workflow out and it's just going to start working. All right, so let's go 3, 2, 1, test. All right, so fetching the essays. Again, this is where I've also added the entire proxy as well. All right, so it's going to work. All right, so all of this is finished. It's done. All right, so now the summarization part where it's using my local computer. And now if you see, it's going to, my CPU usage is going to increase a lot more because it's currently using my LLM. All right, so the summarize. All right, so perfect. So as you guys can see, this entire thing has been executed perfectly and the summarization chain has also been done. And now the extract and the summarization is going to merge and then clean up a little bit, just to clean up, like syntax and all of that, and then give us a complete good output. So like I said, now from here, you can just go ahead and post it on Twitter. You can also create a post on LinkedIn as well and start creating blog posts as well in a mass scale. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. And this is a complete workflow that you guys can copy, emulate using N8N and Toolip proxies, because for scraping, anything scraping, you would need Toolip proxy for sure. And if you want to build the workflow, you need N8N. And this is how you basically build the entire research agent as well. So I'll be creating more videos on N8N and creating in-depth workflows of how to do various things, like maybe even creating AI generated videos using entire workflows and how I can automate my entire shorts and YouTube videos with N8N. So that's all for this video again. Thanks again for watching, guys. See you guys in the next one. Peace.